Hey, Brad, you there? Oh, hey, it's me.
I'm here, but I'm going to drop and come back in.
Okay.
Go ahead if we're live.
Yeah, Brad's having some Apple technical problems over there. So, so that $2,500 pretty little laptop ain't working as well as he thought. But you probably just need more RAM, is my guess, right?
No, I've got some kind of CPU bug or something going on. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's pissing me off to no end.
Well, it's those sketchy porn sites, man.
That's it.
But yeah, hey, so it looks like we thought Alex was going to come on today, but he got called into another meeting, probably dealing with all that extra market cap he's gotten since the last time he was on the show.
Yeah,
keeping everybody happy.
Yeah.
But, lots of exciting stuff going on in the market today. Thing that's caught my mind while Brad's doing it. MasterCard's, I'll just share screen while we're here. MasterCard is expanding consulting with crypto dedicated practices with 500 new hires. So, they're staffing up, again, more user adoption, which is always good. Another thing I saw was interesting, of course, just following the China example, Bank of Russia proceeds with digital ruble, renews push for crypto ban. So again, they're just trying to, I guess, get it all out of the market till they issue their digital currency before adding transactions. But we've heard lots of different things. Well, she's a pretty one. We've heard lots of different things about what they're doing. Of course, it's totally confusing, just like the Russia-Ukrainian situation. But again, they got to keep the oligarchs happy, and that's what it's going to take. I did see this one too. SEC probing the trading affiliates of Binance US. Haven't done a little bit with them in the past. I'm pretty intrigued by this. What they're looking at. Now, I don't have a subscription here, but to Wall Street Journal. But it looks pretty interesting. 2 trading firms with ties to Binance's founder. Looks like Sigma Chain and Merit Peak. So I can't see what they're really doing. Looks like how they disclosed to customers its links to the trading firms. So it must be something about trying not to act like a trading entity, but steering everybody to trading entities in some way. But again, I don't know. Something worth looking at. And then this was really cool about crypto VC investments in Latin America, growing tenfold to 653 million. Hey, James, all good over here. And thanks, Eamon. We're just waiting for our boy Brad and his Apple gear to get into the game here. But all good. Hope you guys are doing well too. But this is big too. We hear a lot of this in Miami. Colombians and Chileans and Argentines and of course Brazilians. It's obviously a huge market, and a lot of South American capital is banked in Miami. When they want to, like we said before, when you want to store 500 billion or 20 billion, you're taking it into other safe havens at night to earn extra interest rates before bringing it back to your country. So it makes a lot of sense how this would fit in, and also in Venezuela. A ton of Bitcoin usage for payments, et cetera, because their currency is essentially collapsed, or has collapsed. So this is again ties into El Salvador. Well, here's what we're saying here. Let's see, what did they do? They did Bitso, a Mexican crypto exchange operating in Argentina and Colombia, raised 250 million. First Latin American crypto unicorn. Then a Brazilian crypto exchange, Mercado Bitcoin, raised a total of 290 million, 2.2 billion valuation. 3 Argentine crypto exchanges, Ripio, 50 million, Series B, Lemon Cash, and Waynebit raised 16 million and 11 million. And another one, Kaszek, a leading Latin American venture capital fund, made its first DeFi investment, leading a $3 million round in Exactly. A startup is building an open source non-custodial credit protocol on the Ethereum platform. So, good stuff going on in South America. Then also this is pretty cool too. EverVault, which I know a lot of people know of. I just haven't used them, but they're launching a service to protect crypto Seedphrases. And, we always talk about this, no matter what anybody says, people DMing you in Telegram, people offering help. even the project people yourself that you're talking to, you just never give up the seed phrase. And, you know what that is when you set up different wallets. It's that, anywhere from 12, 24 or more words that you save somewhere else. I mean, I don't even print it out. I know you can print paper keys and things like that. I don't print even. I just write it down manually in a book and stash that somewhere, a couple of sets, different locations where I could get to it and where someone might figure out how to get to it if anything ever happened to me. But that's pretty interesting. It's all about enhancing security. EverVault. So let's see. 12, 18, or 24 words. And the service is, name it service 12, 18, 24. So they use the same encryption technology used for financial and health information companies, which is, got it. I've got to add Brad. There he is. Hold on. I see him. I can hear you, buddy.
All right.
How do I add you? It just says remove you.
You did. You added.
You're in. Okay, got it. So, that's a great service. And this is the type of thing where now, when you think about custodial issues like estate issues, like, you get run over by a bus, how do you make sure your kids get all this stuff? This is a good way. I bet they have a trust service here now where you can have encrypted seed phrases saved and then have, beneficiaries, if you don't contact them in a certain amount of time or somebody shows up with a death certificate. So wait, what is this here? Hold on. This was seed phrase security became a plot point in the headline grabbing arrest of the couple that, had that $3 billion in Bitcoin from the Bitfinex hacks. When the arrest was announced in February, U.S. authorities said they were able to access wallets controlled by Ilya and Heather after just decrypting a spreadsheet of seed phrases saved to a cloud storage service. So again, who would in their right mind would store seed phrases in the cloud? Just ridiculous.
Yeah,
so this is about EverVault, and they're launching. I don't know if you heard all this, Brad, but it's
no, I didn't.
Yeah, they're launching a service to protect crypto seed phrases with the same encryption technology used for financial firms and healthcare companies. So what does that mean? In the U.S. we have HIPAA, Healthcare Privacy Act law. I can't remember the equivalent, but there's one in Europe, which probably GDPR type stuff. But that data is some of the most protected data out there. So, this is sort of tier one or the highest level of protection. And I also think, Brad, that it could have like a estate element to it. So, that seed phrase could be there and there could be maybe instructions. So if someone, if you reach a demise, someone has a password or something that can go there with a death certificate and get the phrase, or maybe there's a beneficiary service or something like that. But I think that's pretty cool because that's something I think about too. Will they be able to figure out? Because of course you don't want everybody to know where you're storing them either. In case your girlfriend, or somebody gets pissed, ex-girlfriend gets pissed. I tie into that. I saw a thing with ATF. Did you see that messaging that ATF put out on Instagram on Valentine's Day?
No.
Oh, it was great. It says, pissed off at your ex-boyfriend? You want to get back at him? If he's got illegal guns, let us know. We'll deliver a Valentine to him. And so they're going after disgruntled exes to get them to rat out their, gun habits of their exes. So you can imagine if these exes, if your, significant others have your seed phrase, you're like, oh, hey, if anything happens, will you make sure this gets to my daughter?
Yeah.
And then something happens. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
No,
or,
exactly.
They dump you or you dump them. But it's a good thing just for stability. What the hell is this? I don't care about this.
I put some links in the group too.
Oh, cool. And then this I thought was interesting. This quant fund, I don't know who it is, but it's not big. Oh God, this is another paywall. Star Killer Capital, but he's picking 3 in here. So Fortune Magazine, top crypto fund, eyeing 3 other tokens. Google it up and sweep. This browser's loaded with all the cookie crap right now, so all the paywalls don't function. It's not like I'm coming in Virgin and they'll show you the one article. Novogratz and Galaxy, substantial wave of capital ready for crypto investments. He was at Canaccord Digital Assets. I guess Canaccord, that's part of the cannabis industry in Canada, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And well, what is he saying here? He's saying let's see, Vanderwilt said his conversation with investors suggests many are seeing the recent plunge in crypto opportunities prices as a buying opportunity. Everything connected. Galaxy said estimates the current market cap of all coins in the crypto ecosystem is just under 3 trillion, excluding areas such as venture investment. Compared with estimates of global wealth of around 450 trillion, that means the total market cap of crypto, excluding venture capital, is only about 40 bips of total global wealth, or 0.4 of 1%. So, again, Galaxy's listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange. I forgot about that. It's bouncing up. And then also Colorado getting ready to accept crypto for tax payments by the end of the summer. So, when you look at all the states and all the different areas where people are starting to utilize crypto and the focus of institutional, I mean, we're getting ready to hit that huge user adoption hockey stick here soon. I don't know if that's this year, second half of this year, or if that's a 2023 thing, but it's coming.
No, I definitely agree. I think we're going to see a larger and larger influx. It may come over time, but it's definitely happening.
Eamon says he's similar to you, wreaked havoc on his MacBook Pro, using it as everyday workstation. Maybe time to get a legit desktop. There you go.
Well, I really think I've got a buggy. This is a fairly new MacBook Pro, and I think I've got a buggy when it can't handle the video processing. The rest of the time, it runs beautifully like a Mac should. But as soon as I jump on StreamYard or any video service like this, it's shit, just absolute shit. So there's something going on with the way the video is processed by the CPU or something. I don't know what it is, but it's fucking brutal.
And it looks like Chuck's commenting on your haircut. Did you get a haircut today?
Last week.
He's probably commenting on mine. But I whipped out the razor, over the weekend and cut out the gray basically. So let me see here. What are we looking like? I mean, everything's holding up. ETH's still above 3. I'm just taking a look at the stuff over here, waiting for the books. How's everything looking over? What are the material indicators guys saying these days?
I haven't been following along in the conversations, but there was, interestingly enough, some conversation today about Roblox dumping hard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they showed lower numbers of adoption, but it's like kids are going back doing other shit right now. So yeah, there was going to be less than there was when they were locked down at home. I'm not sure why anybody's surprised. And frankly, me personally, I've seen how much kids play that game personally. My daughter, when she was into it, I would not count Roblox out. I'm looking at this as a discount right now. I know we're crypto focused, but and by the way, MTF threw this morning through a deviation 3 signal, our mean reversion indicator, through a deviation 3 signal in 3 minutes, hit 5.52% profit on Roblox.
Wow.
Yeah, wish I'd had it on for stocks. But anyway, I posted up some articles there, Joe, in the group. If you want to load some up.
Yeah, no, I'm just reading Chuck's comment to you. I believe you need to get a cheap PC with a decent graphics card to handle your podcast video muxing. Macs have no reasonable hardware encode/decode for the popular streaming protocols, so it mangles your CPU. That's interesting.
That makes total sense, except for the fact that my 2013 MacBook Pro had zero trouble with it.
Yeah.
So there's something. It makes sense. I mean, his argument is valid, but I think I've got something else wrong here because it's not even like functional day in, day out. So I've got to figure out what the fuck's causing the problem. It's trying to drive. I have this monster ass monitor, so this Mac has to drive it. But that's the other thing. My old Mac drove this monitor with no problem. So I think I got something else hardware issue wise on this MacBook. I got to have them check it out. So anyway.
Yeah. Did you? What was the DeBank article about?
So there's this account that I follow is covers airdrops, and they were intimating. Why don't you read that tweet? What it says, Joe? I can't see it. I'm on my phone.
Yeah. Okay. Something is cooking at DeBank DeFi, the popular multi-chain portfolio tracker. They implemented some social features allowing to build a public profile and follow other Web3 users to see their wallet activity on a feed.
That is not new features at DeBank. That is old features at DeBank.
Let's see. These verification features can be used by them to build a better airdrop distribution.
Yeah, I think they're trying to intimate that something's going on there that's actually not newsworthy. Never mind.
Okay.
I was hopeful DeBank was going to do an airdrop because I got a lot of wallets connected there, and I actually have had a couple of exchanges directly on DMs with the CEO there, one of the founders there, and I'm really impressed with what they're doing. I've actually switched to their wallet, Rabby, as well, which is a much better interface. Pulls in the DeBank data, so you can see all your DeFi investments in the wallet. You can see your NFTs in the wallet, the browser extension. You see all current prices of every token in your wallet. It's a really good, it's a really solid product. I'm thoroughly impressed with everything that they crank out. It's far superior to MetaMask in terms of usability. Just night and day. So I thought this was interesting.
Yeah.
Marshall Islands officially recognizes DAOs as a legal entity. So for potential offshore stuff there, I guess that's a potential venue. I don't know, what the value in that is, though, if it's will be recognized by anybody else just because they do. So that's something to consider. But I think we're going to see more and more countries starting to adopt and adapt to crypto. Portugal, I just read an article yesterday that there's been a pretty good influx of crypto founders, Bitcoin hodlers, maximalists, everything. They're trying to recreate Bitcoin Beach in El Salvador there in Portugal. So that was pretty cool. I interviewed the founder of Nansen yesterday, and by the way, awesome frigging product. I'm gonna start demoing some of the functionality of it here in the next couple of days, because after interviewing him, I didn't even realize the scope of this thing. I mean, a lot of what their product was built on was originally as a wallet tracker, but they now have the ability to the shit that you can do as a user to track wallets, to see what people are investing in, to know what things are getting the most attention, what things are having the most gas fees used. It's an incredibly powerful product. I mean, it's that I haven't been using it before now is just ridiculous. I mean, it's expensive relative to other kind of retail-ish data products, but it's the base one is $400 a quarter. But in terms of the functionality that it gives you and the ability to spy in and see what the hell's going on with money in the wallets and where people are investing, it's powerful. They also have a ton of other functionality and features built into that product. It's fantastic. So I'm going to start demoing some of the functionality of it that I got from him and some ideas around it that I have for utilizing it.
Well, and they have a solid pedigree of investors.
Yeah, he was talking
A16Z. It's on the screen. GIC, Coinbase.
Yeah. He was talking last night about the most valuable thing he ever got from an investor is A16Z has a CEO email list. So all the CEOs and all their portfolio companies are on this list. And it's everything from the single or the brand new startup just getting started, asking questions, all the way up to the CEOs of the largest corporations that they ever funded. And it's all these guys giving advice back and forth. He said it was incredibly valuable. So they've got 80 people. Oh, but that was the reason I brought them up, because of Portugal. They just started a new program that if you work for them, they have 3 hubs, Singapore, Miami, and Lisbon. And if you work for them, they will pay for you to travel to one of their hubs. They will pay for your housing to work out of one of their hubs for 3 months. So you can hop around the world, Lisbon, Singapore, and Miami, with that company and basically live, rent free, and hop back and forth between the different countries if you want to.
Wait, Nansen or A16?
Nansen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, GIC, I've done work with them. That's a Singaporean sovereign wealth fund. Probably gets 2 trillion under management about now. The other one, no, actually, which one's? No, they're the bigger one. Temasek is the smaller one. But those are the 2 lead ones. Tiger Global, I think that's an extension of Tiger Management, which was the original hedge fund, Julian Robertson. But hey, Eamon says for you, your technical issue, it could be the M1 processor, has lots of video issues. I don't know if that's the one.
Yeah, I need to check that out.
And go ahead.
That makes sense. I'm going to check it.
And then Trading Edge said Canaccord is a full service financial services firm. So we'll have to do a little look into that. And then something about, he says Trading Edge says Shop also getting crushed after earnings. I don't really remember who Shop is.
Shopify.
Okay. Oh, now back to, I wanted to say one other thing. The first DAO in Marshall Islands is called Shipyard Software. So that would be something that we should take a look at. And they're using MyDAO Directory Services Inc., a domestic organization established to help DAOs register within the Marshall Islands. So if anybody's interested, I think your first stop is Googling MyDAO, MIDAO directory, and then probably starting there.
Cool.
What was the other one that you had? One other one in here that was interesting. Mark Cuban.
Oh yeah, that one. Mark Cuban stated that he owns a big chunk of Matic, and I certainly agree with the sentiment around Matic because I think Polygon has their shit together, but that's just a nice validation there, and I don't think Cuban's a dumper, so I think he'll hold on to that. And it's a smart fundamentals long-term play for my own and personal investment.
Yeah, no, I love Matic. It's been good to me, and it's the only place that you can really. I mean, it was the best place to execute these strategies that we talk about before Phantom came around and Avalanche.
Yeah,
because once gas fees went up on layer 1 ETH, it was very hard to do anything. But I do see a lot of people joking about Cuban, calling him a top signal. Whenever he comes into something, it's time to dump. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I love his enthusiasm, and I love that he uses his wallet.
Yeah.
So he doesn't hold back, and he's not like crazy like all the other ones. You don't get
exactly
that, like, kind of whatever volatility that comes out of, say, Elon, and you don't get that kind of messianic complex you see out of Saylor. You get kind of like, he's just a straight up dude. I read something from Cuban years ago where he was, he said something like, if he got fired from his job and had no money, what would he do? And he said there was 2 things he would do. 1, get a job bartending or waiting tables so he'd get cash in his pocket that day.
Right.
And do that at night, and then get a sales job and do that in the day. So, he's kind of guy that can come from 0 to $1 billion and still enable other people to do things. And he seems pretty interesting. And I also met one of the president of the Dallas Mavericks 2 years ago, I guess, right around this time at a Bloomberg conference. And, he got, I don't know, he was getting some criticism maybe for some, sports culture. I don't know if it was everybody was white or everybody was male, but it was time to diversify. And so he brought in, I think Cynthia something, I can't remember her name, but I think she came from it was GE or Procter and Gamble or some giant company. And then so he started populating all the senior executives with, women and
nice.
People of color. And so, he definitely saw the need to do that what's the MBA audience?
Right.
So it's like, it's multicultural.
Yeah.
Not just American, obviously. It's European and Chinese and South American and Australian and African. And then, of course, African American and U.S. Hispanic, U.S. Latino. So, and then, some white guys. But, to me, I think he's a smart guy who, seeing him so enthusiastic about this is always kind of a validator to me.
Yeah, totally.
But there's an article here, a new NFT platform, because I was always, what I get pissed about with OpenSea is that Doki Doki collection, OpenSea won't verify it. and so nobody does anything in it.
Yeah.
On the Polygon side because nobody thinks it's real.
Yeah,
and that's been going on for a year.
Exactly.
So because they're all legit. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, they're all the proper NFTs. So it looks like there's Da Vinci. Okay, now I have heard about this. A new NFT-based content protocol. Allow producers to mint NFTs to unlock content. Yeah, okay, I know I heard about this. This was with the iHeartRadio guys talking about this with their concert promotions and things to that effect. Yeah, just so you know, your video's off or your camera's off.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up something on my phone before I bring up a topic.
Yeah, and how do you get audiences to engage? And I was listening to the can't remember his name, but the head of corporate development there, and chatting with him, and they're just doing things like NFT drops, but not using them for something, but they weren't linking it to downloads of music or backstage passes or discounts on. Maybe they were doing discounts, but they weren't linking it to a lot of cool things that would facilitate real world, digital world fan interaction and club building. Let's see. It looks like we got another one from Brad here.
So this is Dennis and Bertram from Vote with Tally. They have a voting system like Snapshot that's used by a lot of major projects. They launched a project yesterday called DAO.new, DAO.new, that allows anyone to spin up an NFT-based governance DAO, utilizing the governor contracts, smart contracts from is it Yearn or Aave? Anyway, the industry standard for kind of the governance contracts. So it's an NFT based ownership DAO system. He's coming on the show next week, and we're going to spin up a DAO together just for shits and giggles.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we'll set that up. I got to get some graphics together so we can, have the NFTs for it or whatever. But it'll just be fun to see it demonstrated and tried out. And I think it's a really cool concept. I think it's really smart for Vote with Tally from a business perspective, because their systems, in order to participate and use Vote with Tally, it's a bit of a complex technical process. So one of the things we talked about when I interviewed him, I don't know, 6 months ago, 4 months ago, whatever, was that for other projects that are coming on board that are non-technical, there needs to be kind of a gateway in that makes it simple and easy for people to set up these DAOs. And so that's really what this is, I think, a first step for them. And Dennison's cool because Dennison does all kinds of cool side projects. Like he built a blockchain entirely on the graph just for shits and giggles. He just does a lot of cool projects. He did a game project around the loot NFT concept. He's a really good guy in the community. So it'll be fun to have him on next week.
Yeah, and that's DAO.new if anybody wants to check it out.
Yeah, you can click through and show them that. It's just a real simple interface.
Right now, ERC721 support. Okay.
Right. So this is right now on Ethereum mainnet. I'm assuming he's going to launch on Polygon as well. But you can define the token, connect your wallet, define the token name for the NFTs, etc. And, click through and submit, and you've got a DAO set up.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Damn. I'm just looking through a few things. Governor, I'll have to dig through this.
Yeah,
this
man.
Might be helpful for some other things.
Exactly.
I mean, I've just been grappling with all the governance issues and jurisdictional issues and tokenomics issues, and then NFT related issues around the tokenomics. It's just a very complicated space right now. If you're trying to do it, in a way that's not going to get yourself in a bunch of trouble right away.
Yeah, it's because our government won't do it because they want it to be a honeypot to catch whatever they feel like catching.
Yeah. Hey, Trading Edge, I do in one chat. I mean, they do stalk various wallet addresses. I will go in there today and see if I can find Mark's wallet address for you. Or
it may be that Nansen has that marked.
Yeah, that's true too. And then Lens protocol. We're talking about Lens last week, or were you and I just talking about that, Brad?
No, we talked about it on the show.
Yeah, okay.
That, you know, that's because I said that I felt like they really should have had a demonstration version of the project out.
Yeah. But what was that again? That was
That's Aave's social media
right.
platform.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, anything. You know, I have this big problem with social media, and that, you know, people can say just about anything they friggin' want. And, you know, it's, you know, I mean, you can lie, you can make shit up, whatever, and there's no repercussions for that. So to me, and then you delete it, and I guess nobody knows. But to me, I'm like, that should all be on blockchain, is my thing.
Right.
So those communications. So if you want to go out and say something not so crazy, or you want to be the person who's spreading disinformation, you know, when you read all this stuff about, like right now, there's a couple of different Russian intelligence groups putting out ready-made articles that are getting picked up in different media sources and then being picked up by our mainstream, particularly this, there was one site they mentioned, kind of a, I don't want to give labels, but let's say it was leaning to the right. And, you know, they're just doing talk. Oh, it was Zero Hedge. And the article that they published was like verbatim, you know, FSB, SVR talking points. So to me, you know, you're spreading propaganda at that point. You're spreading lies. So I think that, you know, needs to be punished. And when you do that, because you're definitely not enabling our national interests, let's put it that way, whatever country you're in. It applies everywhere. We know this. We just have really wide open press freedoms of protection, and all of these companies in tech operate in this loophole area where they can't be sued for any of this because it's not their content. It's the user's content.
Right.
Well, I think that the users should be liable for that content then. If you're going to be a publisher, then you should at least, if you egregiously do something wrong, you should be held account. And whether that's, you know, maybe people then know and they stop listening or something, or they stop reading or stop following or blocking, or it's something more strict. Something needs to happen. So just my 2 cents, but I know other people have other opinions.
Yeah, definitely. Eamon says Lens protocol is super exciting. Yeah, I actually think there's a ton of potential behind that. I just think that they potentially could have at least demoed some functionality and product with some just silly niche vertical, you know, people that collect purple puppy NFTs, right? And just something silly, but to show what can be possible with the system so people can actually get a feel for it. I just think that giving something to people tangibly and then saying, here's all the other things you could potentially do with this, allows developers to say, hey, I can see what I could build here. And so that to me, I think strategically would have been better. I actually got a reply. I tweeted that. I got a reply from Maki because he's an advisor to it, for Maki from Sushi. And he said that they really wanted it to be open to whatever anybody wanted to create from it. And I get that. I just think that human beings like examples to spur their creativity and thinking. So we'll see what happens.
Well, what's cool?
Eamon says they've got a demo platform coming. Good. I think that would have been the smart move when they launched, but at least they are going to do that. That's great.
But the good thing about them is they're on the right side of data privacy and owning the data. I mean, This is something that we talk about with the genomics space. I was involved in a company, back in 2010 that was, trying to user control data. And then I remember then Steve Case, founder of AOL, came out with a company to do the same thing. And then all of a sudden that company kind of disappeared. And so I realized that, nobody of the powers that be wanted individuals to own their own data at that point, because Steve Case couldn't get it done.
Right.
Remember, he was chairman CEO of Time Warner after all of the AOL stuff.
Right.
But this one's back to that. Own your content, own your social network, own your data, own the way you monetize. Just like with Twitter. Twitter owns those tweets and they use them to sell analytics products and the data to other things. 23andMe, you're giving up ownership of that DNA information and they're packaging it up and selling it to other groups.
Yep.
So, we should, which is what encryption was trying to fix, on the genomic side, where the individuals get the money for the data if pharma researchers use it. Same with this, like we had an example back in 2010, which was, if you were like a marketing firm and you wanted to find, I think back then it was, I think Sanchez was the quarterback of the Jets, because I was always using Sanchez as an example. Right. You wanted to find all the people who were, 20 to 30 years old that, liked Sanchez, but were Giants fans. And you wanted to find a way to market them over to the Jets. You could segment the data and people would be queried. And if you wanted to share your, browsing data and all of that, you could share it and get paid for it.
Right.
Well, that was 2010. Now the infrastructure is there to do all of this. So it's time, that's one thing when I talk about, when sometimes I say that, I look at crypto as an investment, not a religion, so to speak. I'm not going against decentralization and the people. I mean, I'm a man of the people. I want us to get the money and us to have the power. I just resent the fact when, people get hustled because somebody's overpromising stuff or a reality that doesn't happen. And so that's when I come down on why I say when it doubles or triples in an afternoon, I sell, because I don't believe in a long-term hold of that. But, this is the type of stuff here that we're all trying to get to. I just think that you have two sets of investments. You have short-term trading portfolio and you have, long-term investments. Unfortunately, my long-term ends up being all the stuff that went in the shitter, and I just hold it anyhow at that point. Other than, Bitcoin or ETH or those types of tokens that I, believe will always be around. Those I say, yeah, you hodl that stuff and you hold it. But, I just think that it's up to us as individuals to do what we're going to do. And, we need to take back the power from big tech and all the other companies that are taking all of our blood, sweat, and tears and selling it to generate profit, which we don't share in. So that's sort of my philosophy. And sometimes when Brad and I go at it, I don't want people to think that I'm against the long-term goals of crypto. I am. But I also put it in the context of, what is feasible at different times. And I don't, as Brad knows, I don't like to poke the bear, stick a stick in its eye, basically, where everybody then turns their whole focus on me. I don't like that scrutiny. So I try to play as straight up as I can, but I'm all for the little guy.
Yeah, Joe, you're just a boomer, man. It's okay.
I watched too much Underdog when I was a kid. I loved that cartoon. It was like, I didn't like Bullwinkle. I thought that was just too fucking weird. I never quite got it, but Underdog, I got that one, so it's more of, I just get tired of the little guy getting shit on all the time.
I get it. I totally get it. I am right there with you, man. Everybody in America loves an underdog. So that's awesome.
Yeah. What is Eamon saying here? Hold on. I got a demo. Yeah, haha, true. Not enough. Yeah, Chuck's chiming in on the Bullwinkle stuff. Not enough Boris and Natasha. Yeah, that was a weird cartoon, man. I mean,
yeah.
I would have to take a look at that again sometime. But anyhow, I love this one. Lens looks really cool. Social media, owning the content, all of that. It's very cool.
Yeah. No, look, I think it's a great idea. Here's the problem. The social networks that exist today have the moat. And so as much as consumers say they want privacy and say they want freedom, in the United States, at least, they're fucking lazy and don't do anything about the actual work required to protect their privacy or to have freedom of speech. And the moats for Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram are incredibly large. Now, could they be overcome? Absolutely. But I think it's a long, hard road if you don't start with some vertical approach.
Well, I know a lot of these groups also were working on some project back in the day where, when these falsehoods are put out into the social media sphere, they've been trying to figure out who was the originator of it. I think they've solved that already, where you can take it all the way back to where that information was created and disseminated first. before it went to all of the relays and all the other platforms and retweets and things like that. Some of these groups have, 10,000 Twitter users that are all fake, and they just, retweet and like and do all that shit from there. I mean, I told you about the SEO farms that I saw in Kazakhstan and Russia, other places where, people that were hiring this firm in New York that was selling SEO services. All they were doing was giving the 5 words to these 40,000 people in Kazakhstan. They sat and searched that shit every day, all day. And so it moved it up the SEO rankings. Well, people game that in Twitter, obviously, and Facebook and all of those things. And, to track down those networks that are spreading disinformation. And I don't mean an innocuous, one-off, thing that is, just an opinion. I mean orchestrated psyops where you're actually trying to foment dissent and pit groups against each other. I mean, to me, I always feel like, we know like the biggest contributors to the NRA, it turns out it was the Russians. We know that a lot of the big contributors to BLM, it's Russians. So, they're funding both sides and pitting people against each other. And that's just them. Who else is doing it? The Chinese, everybody. I mean, I'm sure we're doing it to other people too. So
of course,
don't get me wrong, but people don't get it. And so when, people get manipulated to do stupid shit through social media or through their whoever they're following or they deify, all of a sudden one day they wake up and realize, God, they were just duped into doing that stuff. So that's the stuff I don't like. Just as I don't like payday loan people taking advantage of people that don't know better, I guess, or that have no other circumstances but that. I don't like people that prey on our grandparents. Well, I don't have any of those left anymore. Our parents or, other people's grandparents that just make them scared of everything. It's just not, it needs to stop. And I don't know how you do that in a free speech, freedom of the press environment, but somebody's got to figure that out. And maybe this kind of thing is the way to do that. I don't know.
Well, this kind of thing will make more of that possible, but because it won't be controlled. It won't be censorable. But there's also the opportunity to create private networks where people can feel safe and get into whatever they're into. Frankly, like I said, I think there's a massive moat to overcome. One of the things I'm most hopeful for is Twitter, Jack, create an entire division focused on creating a uncensorable blockchain-based version of Twitter that people will be able to migrate to. And that to me has a huge amount of promise because while that would be an interesting problem for Twitter in terms of revenue, the opportunities that it would open up for existing user base to migrate and realize the capabilities of privacy or freedom of speech or whatever they're concerned about without having to start over could be very powerful. So anyway, we'll see what happens with those things.
Yeah, I mean, it just has to. Problem is that the profit incentives are so weighted toward the groups with all the power right now. It takes someone on the inside, like you said, like Dorsey or somebody at one of these platforms to actually really change it.
Yeah,
to where it can, whatever evolves next. I don't know what it is. I just think we all know there's a problem here.
Yep.
And that somehow it needs to be fixed, where it still allows everybody to say, legitimate things, and voice their opinion, but not in ways that are spreading propaganda and creating those like dopamine anger, basically.
Yeah.
Because it's all everybody has their preconceived frameworks that they grew up with, and if your parents taught you something, that's the way you look at everything. If you come from a community, that's the way you look at everything. From that, the way the people in the community are. And if everybody's looking at their phones, seeing images of people rioting here or storming here or burning this down or that down, it just demonizes the other side so much that's very hard to come to the middle. Yep. And that's what we need, is some kind of a social algorithm that brings people to a compromise, not to an extreme. Because what you find out is even the people you most disagree with politically, you're fucking 60 to 70% similar to them and a bunch of other shit. So
I've been a big I had this idea over 2 years ago, and I tweet about it occasionally, and that is a common ground plugin for all the social networks that, based on your user history, your interactions, the things you've said and done, you opt into this thing, and then as you're engaging with people, it actually finds all the things you have in common. So if you're engaging with someone and it's getting a heated argument, you actually might click on that person's name to see what you have in common, or maybe a little symbol lights up and says green, like, oh, you have something in common with this person. And you'll find that when you know you have something in common, something you like, it could be a sports team, it could be where you're from, it could be anything, a hobby, whatever, that dramatically tempers the level of argument and aggression that people feel towards other people, because they're like, well, wait a minute, they're very similar to me. So I totally agree with your point there, that there's a lot that we all agree on. So big opportunity there. But anyway, I hope Aave's successful, because I think it's a powerful opportunity. And I just think it's a big, hard road to climb, but they have done the hard work of building a platform that people can build on. So that's a really good thing.
Yeah, and at least they're trying. So maybe this doesn't work, but maybe the next iteration does, or the next or the next. But you just start chipping away.
And the beauty of their approach is if it's a platform, there can be 500 iterations that may work, right? And because people are just building an interface on top of it and functionality on top of it. On another note, if you're involved in a project, and I tweeted this earlier, but if you're involved in a project as an investor, as a community member, or as an employee of a project, and your website requires me to go read documentation in order to figure out what the hell you do, you have a problem, right? You guys your project's not even covering the basics. So this came up because, and I'm ranting about this because I had a project reach out to me that's actually a very well-connected project, and asking to be on the CEO or the founder to be interviewed for Mission DeFi. Mm-hmm. And I went to their website, and literally their website was the name of the project, some piffy slogan, something governance, something, I don't know. And then inter-app documentation. Like absolutely nothing there for the user that's coming in to go, oh, I want to check this out. Like zero, no benefits, no functionality, no what it is, what it does, what its benefit to the world is, nothing. If I have to read your documentation to get even an inkling of what you do, you're doing it wrong. So if you know a project that's like that and you're involved with it, you want to make more money on that project as an investor, tell them to get their shit together, because you got about a millisecond to catch people's attention and keep them there when they visit your website.
Yeah, and so look at like the Lens, to that point, look at like the Lens protocol one. I mean, there it is. I mean, there you see, you know what they're doing.
Exactly.
And then you can go right to the Discord channel or whatever, their developer garden, which is all about, then read the developer docs right there.
Right. But don't make people guess. It's just stupid.
And developers expect to read docs,
of course,
and that's what they're looking for. And here it is, right there at the basically below.
But their homepage had a lot more about their concept, why they're doing it, blah blah blah. And that's the important thing.
So
keep
you have
people's interest.
Yeah, you have a pretty engaging graphic here, and then you have a couple of buttons. You have essentially their tagline. Then you've got a little bit more here about what's going on, how it's doing, blah, 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 blah. Last social media handle you ever have to create: a permissionless, non-custodial social media profile. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this.
Yeah.
To Brad's point.
Yeah, you don't have to have a dissertation on the homepage. Just explain the benefits to the world, to the user, to the person that's visiting. Give them a reason to dive deeper. But don't just send people to fucking documentation, and don't have vague statements about saving the world. Nobody gives a shit. They want to know. They want to know what you're going to do for them. We are all inherently selfish. So tell me first and foremost what you can do for me, and then we can talk about saving the world. So anyway.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
That's all I got for today, Joe.
Yeah, I'm kind of good too. I got a ton of stuff to do. Trying to think. Let's see if we can find that Cuban wallet address for.
Yeah. Let's climb into Nance and see if they've got him marked.
Yeah, and then Other than that, we'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a great day.
Thanks
Hey,
for watching, everybody. Appreciate it. Love you guys.
talk to you later, buddy. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.